Hey, welcome to another episode of Your Faith and Health Community. I'm your host, Pastor Jackie Jackson, and as always, on behalf of myself and my producer, Anita Alexander, we want to thank you very much for tuning in. Hope you've been having a good week, having a great day, having a good year. I'm going to say something about healthcare. I know that we're still a few months away from open enrollment, but you need to know that you may fall into a life-changing event category if you've recently lost a job or started a new job, just moved into the great state of Ohio, if you recently had a baby or have gotten divorced, or even if you are returning home from a correctional institution, you have 60 days from the day of your life-changing event to be able to enroll in healthcare. You can go to www.healthcare.gov to look at plans. You can do it online. You can actually call in. I believe that they can help in 127 or 130 different languages. So that way you can get enrolled in healthcare. Also, if you're single and you're making $16,228 or less, that makes you eligible for Medicaid. You can reach out to Job and Family Services, or you can go to ohiobenefits.gov and try and enroll for Medicaid. Bottom line is, there's no reason for anyone not to have some form of health care insurance. Get insured. I like to say, if you don't get insured for yourself, get insured for your family, for your loved ones. One emergency room visit, one hospital stay could send you into bankruptcy. In fact, one of the leading reasons for bankruptcy in America stems around medical bills. So let's eliminate the bankruptcy because of medical bills. Let's eliminate you finding out later on that you have something that could have been taken care of, but you didn't get health care insurance, and so you didn't find it in time. Open enrollment will start in November of 2018, so it's coming up soon. Get ready. Last year, if I remember right, and I could be wrong, it happened once, I think it was 1967, I was wrong. So I'm due to be wrong again, but I believe last year were some of the highest numbers ever getting enrolled in healthcare. So let's take care of that. Now that I've gotten on my soapbox and talked about healthcare, let's move on. I have two great guests with me. I'm excited. You've seen them before. We have Michelle Mueller and we have Jill Bowman, and they are a part of Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America, which I'm actually a mom or a part of the Moms organization. Okay, I'm not a mom. But we want to thank you guys for coming back.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So it's exciting to have you here. And I know coming up here tomorrow, actually, it will be, we have this event, Wear Orange, that's going to take place in Washington Park in downtown Cincinnati. So let's talk about Wear Orange.
Mm-hmm. That's right. So on actually the whole weekend of June 1st through June 3rd, but in particular on June 2nd right here in Cincinnati in Washington Park, that will be our National Gun Violence Awareness Day. And so really Wear Orange is, in general, it is dedicated to honoring all the lives of Americans that have been affected by gun violence. And it's the whole platform of Wear Orange is allowing all of our voices for all Americans demanding an end to gun violence. In fact, the theme this year is Use Your Voice. So our event's going to take place in Washington Park from 1 to 3 p.m. It is a community event, so it's family oriented. We will have children activities, we have music, and we'll have speakers, and we'll have a rally, an actual march around the park, a peaceful march, again, honoring all the lives of our survivors and all Americans that have lost their lives to gun deaths.
Okay, and the whole Wear Orange. Why orange? There are a number of colors in the crayon box. Why orange?
Well, actually, the color orange symbolizes the value of human life. And how this all got started and pulled into a national event, it first started locally in Chicago when a little girl, a teenager by the name of Hadaya Pendleton, was actually shot. She was murdered on her way home as she from school, and it was as she walked through the park to get out of the rain. She was taking a shortcut, and she was murdered by some, well, stray bullets. And her friends decided that they wanted to honor her every year on her birthday, which is June 2nd. And they chose the color orange, and they started their event. It was called Project Orange Tree, and they developed, created these orange buttons that they would wear. And of course, that spread all through Chicago and outside of Chicago, honoring her life as an American that was shot down by gun violence. And then from there, Hadaya Pendleton's parents wanted to elevate this project nationally, so they came to our organization, Everytown for Gun Safety, and in Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America. And then we have partnered with hundreds of partners across the nation, and we basically, again, celebrate her birthday and honor all those lives lost to gun violence on June 2nd.
And also, and you may have mentioned this, and maybe I could have missed it, that she marched
Yes.
the week before.
That's right.
In President Obama's, that was the second inaugural.
That's right.
Parade,
She did march, right.
The week before, and then came back home to Chicago
Yep.
and
That's
walking
exactly
through the
right.
park, and that's what took place.
You ask about the significance of orange. Her family and friends wanted to be seen and heard, so they picked a color that hunters wear, so that they're seen and heard out in the fields when they're hunting. And they wanted to be loud and proud, and that's why they picked orange.
Right, and that's right. Hunter says, that orange says, "Don't shoot me."
Right, and we on the outreach team, we actually have one of our shirts that we will wear out at night if we're going to a shooting or homicide or something along that line, which is also basically almost the same color orange, and that's why when we were talking about it, Pastor Mingo mentioned that they chose that because that is the national don't shoot color.
Right. Anti-violence.
Anti-violence,
Right. And
yes.
the value of human life.
Okay, so we have this Wear Orange event. So what should we expect going on at Wear? I mean, is it going to be a thing where everybody's wearing orange and everybody are eating oranges and drinking Orange Crush? I mean, what event should we expect?
We wanted oranges, but they're out of season.
That's right.
So we're getting apples.
That's right. We're going to get a big donation from one of our grocery stores here in Cincinnati of apples, and so that'll be a nice healthy snack. We're also going to have plenty of cookies with orange icing and maybe some other light snacks. But again, we are there. Like you said, it's a platform. The theme this year is Use Your Voice. And so, this is a moment to make it clear to America, bringing that awareness that, we have a problem in America, and it's a gun violence problem, and it's uniquely an American problem. And we feel that, there's, through this event and really through the work every day of Moms Demand Action members and Everytown for Gun Safety and other gun violence prevention groups, that we have a shared hope to create a safer country for all of us and not just some of us.
At the event itself, there are going to be tables for kids where they can do arts and crafts. They can make a sign for the parade that will happen around the park. There will be a table about Be Smart, which is a program to emphasize safe storage and handling of weapons and guns. There will be a survivors table, I believe, and then a few other tables.
Yes, we're actually partnering with Students Demand Action and with our community outreach advocates through the Office of Human Relations here in Cincinnati. So we're going to have several partners with us, Students Demand Action and other student groups. The Young Activist Coalition will also be there. And so there will be information informational tables set up for all the different groups so they can, explain why they're there and what they do as far as trying to decrease gun violence in the communities, and talk a little bit about their work. And then, like Jill said, we'll have a children's area, survivor and faith table. And then we are going to have what is called our Orange Photo Booth. And that allows, when you look at, starting on June 1st, we are working with mayors across the nation to proclaim the day in their cities as National Gun Violence Awareness Day. So we have been working for weeks with our mayors across the nation, asking for those proclamations, and that's on June 1st. Also on June 1st through the 3rd, and in particular, we'll have the Orange Photo Booth set up. There'll be a huge social media blitz where individuals, again, just wear orange, or if you don't have orange, we'll have orange ribbons, and then you can sit in the photo booth and actually get your photo taken, and then take that photo and post it on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram, and Twitter, and then actually express what your wish is. We can end gun violence, or I wear orange for my family or my children. So then that social media blitz will take place again from June 1st through June 3rd. And then the third area of Wear Orange, as far as we have the field events on the 2nd and on the 3rd in our communities. The first are the mayors proclaiming the day, and then we have the third branch to this, and that is Lighting Up America Orange, and that's lighting up landmarks in all the various communities, shining the orange light, or on their buildings, or on your home, in your yards, in your business, any way that you can light up your landmark. And so you'll start seeing on social media, starting on June 1st, all of these landmarks lighting up across America. And the Empire State Building will be the first one that will light up orange that evening. And then in Cincinnati, there are several places that have agreed to light up orange, and that is going to be Fountain Square. The waters will turn orange. The Contemporary Arts Center and Duke Energy, the convention center, will also light up orange.
Okay, and one section, excuse me, that I notice always seems to have quite a few people around, the quilt. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the quilt.
Yes, that's a project that is led by our Martha Walker, who is part of our team. And so for the last year, we have offered an opportunity to survivors, or all those that have been affected by, have lost a loved one or themselves impacted by gun violence, and also people that work in gun violence prevention. So our members also have created a square to this quilt. So there's 48 squares, and every square has their personal story submitted. And that is now just completed, and then we will send that quilt to our national quilting team in New York with Moms Demand Action. We will receive that quilt back, and that'll go on display. It'll take about 3 months to have the finished product, and then that will go on display throughout the city and throughout the state of Ohio, because it will be in Ohio's survivors quilt. It's called the Mother's Dream Quilt.
I might add, too, that in addition to the story behind the quilt square, they talk about their dream for the future, for their children or society. And then also, you can go online and click on a square of the quilt and read the story. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to actually go and see the quilt. You can look at them online.
That's right.
Also,
it's all digitalized.
So Wear Orange is not just an event about one day. It's not like just a day festival that's just a part of the summer. And mentioning the survivors, there are so many people throughout our country. I believe the figure is 96 people a day that succumb to gun violence, who die because of gun violence. So when we're talking about survivors and understanding that a survivor isn't just the, you think, okay, survivor is the person that got shot and they survived. But the family, the loved ones, if the person had succumbed to the gun violence, actually becomes a survivor, right? And
That's right.
So they're actually a survivor. So the Wear Orange, though it's a day of June 2nd, the Wear Orange or the Survivor Connection, the Survivor Network, is a continued thing year-round, because we know that just because a day comes and goes, that you don't all of a sudden go, okay, well, I'm good now. My son or my daughter or whoever, I lost them to gun violence, but the second's over with, so I'm okay. But it's a good thing for people to come down on June 2nd. It's a good thing to be around, in some cases, individuals who understand what you've gone through, which is why we're having a survivor table, where if you've been a victim of gun violence or someone you love has been a victim of gun violence, it's a chance to come down, talk with someone, and even find out that there are some outlets for you. There's a survivor network that goes through this country. And for you here in Cincinnati, through the state of Ohio, it is Every Town for Gun Safety. So Wear Orange, which is a great thing to do the event on the 2nd, it will have information that's going to carry you throughout the year. It's going to have information that's going to help with your family, help mending your family, while other information, and I want to get to some of the other things going on. There is something called Stand Your Ground, and I'm sure a lot of people will remember that, the big Stand Your Ground issue in Florida with the young man, Trayvon Martin. And that was the whole thing of behind that. It was to stand your ground, and that was the justification for killing a young man who wasn't armed, who wasn't breaking a law, who wasn't doing anything. So you guys have been up at the Capitol here lately. Let's talk about what's going on with Stand Your Ground. Should we be worried that now everyone's going to run around and taking lives and then going, hey, I feared for my life and I stood my ground?
Mm-hmm. Well, you are right. Wear Orange just offers first the platform of awareness to gun violence. From there, at our event, we'll have the actions you can take after that day. Like you said, there's a ripple effect, and this goes on every day in American lives that are affected and impacted by gun violence. So you're right. There is also our gun legislation that we keep an eye on. As Moms Demand Action members, we stay very vigilant to the legislation at the state level and the federal level, and how that legislation will affect gun violence in our communities. Will it decrease it, or will these introductions of these dangerous gun bills allow loopholes and increase gun violence in our communities? So the other day, they did sort of resurrect another hearing of the Stand Your Ground bill, and that's HB 228. It was the 7th hearing, and it actually went to a direct vote out of committee. Now, this did pass out of committee, and then now it's
So it passed
out of committee,
meaning?
Meaning that the committee that was hearing the bill after it was introduced, it went through several stages of debate and testimony, opposing and proponents. And after it went through all the hearings, then the committee members of the Federalism Committee took a vote, and the vote was 7-3. So that vote allowed Stand Your Ground, this particular bill, now to be able to go to the full House floor for a vote at some point. And we are very concerned that that point could be very soon. It could be in a matter of days or weeks. It just depends on right now what's going to happen in Columbus, because they don't have a Speaker of the House. Once they vote in a new Speaker of the House, this could very quickly go to a full floor vote for the House. And we stay very vigilant to every stage, and actually oppose it every step of the way, even if it goes through the Senate all the way to the governor, and we will then ask the governor, if it gets that far, to veto this bill.
Okay. And if someone wants to know more about this particular bill, how do they get information? You know, maybe they don't know, maybe they've never heard of it, or they have, but they didn't get all the details. So how does one get information?
You can go online to ohiohouse.gov or ohiosenate.gov and check out the bills and the various committees of where they are and what the bills are.
And is there anything offered through the Moms organization that you can also go on and get information about the bill while also getting information about moms?
Yes, absolutely. We first, there is a national website that we have, which is momsdemandaction.org, and then each state has their Facebook page that you can go to, and that is for Ohio, Moms Demand Action -OH. And if you go to the events tab of the public Facebook page for Ohio for Moms Demand Action, you will actually be able to follow all of our events, all the events that take place as far as our monthly meetings, or in particular, even every trip, every time we go to a hearing and testify in Columbus, those will be listed there. And then on those pages, on occasion, when when the information that we want to make sure the public knows, we can attach that information to those pages also.
Okay, now there's some other things going on. We've got concealed carry reciprocity, and actually, you and I were in D.C. I guess about 3 weeks ago. I went up to Everytown for gun safety, becoming a new fellow there. So I went up for training, and then on the 25th of April, well, you came up the 24th, and on the 25th, we went to Capitol Hill.
That's right.
A bunch of us. There were red shirts and stuff all over the place.
Yes.
Going up to Capitol Hill to talk to the lawmakers to say, hey, we've got to do some common sense, some good common sense things and pass some good common sense laws. So let's talk about that because you came to help us new fellows on that trip to the Hill.
That's right. After they selected, I think there was 37 of you across the nation to become our new survivor fellows through Everytown for gun safety. We, of course, are umbrellaed. Moms Demand Action is umbrellaed under Everytown for gun safety. So what we did is they partnered our survivor fellows with a Moms Demand Action leader, and then we jointly, in a pair, in groups, went to our particular congressman's office, and we actually lobbied, in this case, you and I lobbied Senator Sherrod Brown. And we asked him to continue to oppose federal reciprocity, concealed carry reciprocity, which he has been opposing all along. And we just wanted to let him know that and thank him for his opposition. And if it comes to a vote this summer, federal reciprocity, we are hoping and urging all of our senators to vote no on that bill. And this is a bill that truly could weaken an individual state's concealed carry permitting laws and the laws that are in place state by state. We call it the race to the bottom, where every state would have to recognize another state's concealed carrier if they cross into their borders, no matter what the regulation was for them to get a concealed carry permit. In many states, they do not have regulations. So it's every state then would be forced to recognize even the lowest of standards for concealed carry. So we do not want this bill to pass nationally.
And this vote is merely the politicians voting. So this isn't the average citizen. It's not you and I making a vote.
That's right.
So we don't have anything to do with that vote.
No. But we can certainly urge them. Because we're the constituents, right? And we're going to urge them to vote no on this, on federal reciprocity.
That's one reason why we're so active in the states as opposed to the federal government, because the federal government isn't moving. They're kind of lockstep. So we're reaching out to the states where we can make smaller advances in preventing these laws, or at least having our voices heard so that they know what their constituents are thinking.
And I want to do this before we run out of town. Jill, I know you're the outreach coordinator, or you're the outreach lead. You are the outreach, you are the lead of the outreach in our area. And
Yes.
so why don't you talk about that? We have a few minutes left, so let's talk about this outreach and what you're looking for.
Well, outreach is a really broad subject. What I'm looking for is to connect with different groups throughout the area to work together to reduce gun violence. One goal or one fix doesn't work in every neighborhood. We have to work together and talk to the people in the various neighborhoods, find out what they think would work in the neighborhoods, and then work together. You're much stronger together than separated. It's been really interesting and phenomenally cool. I don't know if I can say that.
You said it.
To go to these different events throughout the city, and every time I go, I see another person that I know from another event or another organization, and it's just really neat. There is a huge number of people in this area willing to work to reduce gun violence, or just violence in particular. They're the community advocates that you work with. They are on the street. You are on the streets. You are mentoring young people. You are showing them different ways to live, a better way to live, showing them opportunities that they didn't know they had. We have picnics with different groups throughout the area to show that they're not alone. You know, we're there trying to help, but we need to hear what the help needs to be. We've been going to the Freedom Center. Lately, they have free symposiums there discussing different problems in our neighborhoods. I just thought of faith communities are reaching out, and they're trying to encompass all groups that are trying to reduce violence in the neighborhoods, working together so that they can support one another, plus reach more people. So it's just really, I'm really encouraged by the number of people willing to work. And it is work.
It's work.
It's work.
You're right. You know, we all want the same result. You're right. We want to end gun violence. We certainly want to decrease it, but we want to end it. And collectively, it takes all of our voices, all the different organizations to work together. And like they say, it takes a village.
So let's do this. We got like about 30 seconds. There are a lot of text to numbers. So why don't you give the list of text twos and what they're for real quick.
Okay. So if you want to get more information for our Survivor Engagement Network, just text the word survivors, that's plural, survivors, to 64433. If you want to get involved with our organization, Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America, you want to text the word READY, READY, to 64433. And if you just want to locate an event, all the different events that we have and that we also collaborate with other organizations, gun violence prevention organizations, just text the word events to 64433, and it will lead you there.
So you've got all that. Hopefully you had your pen and pad and wrote it down, or maybe you just had that type memory where you go, I don't need to write it down, it's locked in my head. Text, get information. The Bible says my people perish for lack of knowledge. So let's not perish for not understanding and having the information. Look, again, my name is Pastor Jackie Jackson. Excuse me. And I want to thank you once again for tuning in with the show, into the show. And we look forward to talking to you again next week. So until then, stay faithful, stay healthy. God bless you.